There is really nothing that new or innovative about the Pulsar Xlite version 3 Mini, but what's really impressive is the overall execution. Let's start with the coding, which on these white Xlite version 3 versions feels very nice and premium, very creepy and does not leave much fingerprints if any, not quite as nice as on LethalGamingGear and Vaxi mice. And now that I mentioned Vaxi, let's talk about the clicks, which are also not as good as on the Vaxi Outset AX Wireless, for example. But these do feel like the best Pulsar clicks that I've tried. These are very light and easy to actuate, and still feel quite snappy and tactile. There is no side play whatsoever, and for example, even post travel is quite minimal even if you click the buttons all the way from the front. The side buttons are also very crispy and there is minimal travel on my unit, but the placement is not the best on the back button for the way I want to grip the mouse, so it's very hard for me to reach it. The scroll wheel is also nice as it has tactile and defined steps. And it's quite silent, which is nice for those people that do hate Zowie scroll wheels, for example. In terms of internals and components, there are no changes, so the performance is exactly the same as it has been before for Pulsar. And the complex 4K solutions have very good performance these days, and they are also reliable. The mouse feet are the exact same as on the other Pulsar Xlite version 3s, but they are different to the previous mini version. The edges are more rounded, which makes the overall experience smoother. What's also changed compared to the previous Xlite Mini is the shape, and one of the biggest factors is for sure comfort grooves. There is nothing whatsoever on the previous Xlite, and you can easily feel the comfort grooves on the Xlite version 3 Mini, and these do make the mouse feel much more comfortable for me. There are also some other changes. For example, the hump on the left side of the Xlite version 3 Mini feels more aggressive, and the front right corner on the mouse also feels quite different. But it also may be just due to the better coding, which can make a mouse feel surprisingly quite different in hand. Overall, this is quite a huge upgrade over the previous Xlite Minis, and comparing it to other smaller Ergos, for example the EC3, it does put in a fair fight in terms of quality and feel, so both of these mice feel extremely well built and premium in hand. But the shapes are of course quite different, and the EC3 does feel larger in hand. And what's the key for me is that the EC3 feels a little bit wider than the Xlite version 3. And that's the key factor which makes the EC3 feel better for me. The main question for me about this mouse is going to be the size, and that for how many people is this going to be very comfortable and very good feeling in game. For example, for myself, it's on the verge of being too small for an Ergo mice, so that's why I do prefer the EC3 in that sense a little bit more. But there are often quite a few guys on my comments asking for smaller Ergos, so for you guys this is going to be a nice option for sure, as the quality and pretty much everything about the mouse is very good for me. But of course you have to remember that Pulsar has had quality issues in the past. And often review units that I've received have been perfect or very close to perfect, but when those go to retail there are more issues and some people have more issues than others. So that's something that you have to watch out. If you do consider getting one, I would not get one right from the get-go, so maybe wait a month or a few weeks at least to see if there are any other huge or any huge quality issues or any smaller ones, for example with the clicks and such. But yeah, there is really nothing much else to say. As I mentioned, the mouse is not innovative, nothing new, but the execution is very top-notch in my opinion, and Pulsar is improving with each iteration of their mice, so I'm happy to see that. And I guess that's all for now, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.